was like around the clock treatment, and rest, as much rest as I can get. And today will be the same thing. Obviously, I feel pretty good today. Looking forward to seeing how I feel tomorrow and go from there. But, I don't think I had a setback, and I just want to, try to continue to keep the treatment and the rehab and things I've been doing over the last couple of weeks to get me back on the floor. So I'm going to continue that over the next 24 hours.
Kai.
LeBron, you mentioned in Charlotte that you just didn't feel good in your pre-game warm-up, and then you took some time off. How frustrating was it to just not be able to go on the court, not do anything for the knee, just kind of wait for it to?
Very frustrating, obviously, because the game that we had in Brooklyn, it was AD's first game, and I felt like it was a small dosage of what we could possibly see with the potential of our team and everybody getting back healthy. And then I wake up the morning of the Philly game, and my knee is a wreck, a total wreck. So it was just very disheartening to not be able to close out that trip after starting the trip at 2-1. And I feel like that was a big trip for us. And me not being in those last 3 games was just, it hurt.
Dan.
I think, I don't remember exactly when it was, but at one point in one of these sessions, you kind of said to us, like, you guys keep asking me the same questions.
Right.
I think was kind of what you said. Curious, like this deep into the season, is it unique for you to kind of have the same sort of questions that were out in week 1, week 2 of the year, still be popping up 60 games in because injuries and all sorts of things have sort of prevented any of them from really being answered?
No, I haven't been a part of a season like this where, injuries have played such a toll, but also, protocols, false protocols, positive protocols, head coach being out for multiple games. I never, in my life playing basketball, where the head coach has been out for an extended period of time. So it's just it's been just challenging in a weird sense, a different season for all of us, not just the Lakers, but a lot of the teams in the NBA. So, it's kind of impossible to gauge, previous encounters that you've had in previous seasons to this one, because this is just totally different.
To follow up on that, how much of that optimism that you guys do have stems from just sort of like the unknown of kind of not knowing what's going to be there, and how much of it stems from like the slivers that you've seen?
Yeah, I think it stems from some of the games that we've played, some of the quarters that we've had, the film work that we put in, that we know we can catch a rhythm, that we can play some really good ball, but we also know that we can play some not so good ball as well. So, we're hoping that we can, find a more consistent approach to how we approach the game, both from a offensive standpoint, also a defensive standpoint, to put us in a position where we do feel like we can make a run at this thing, going down the stretch.
Dave.
One quick one, and a regular one. Did you have to get your knee drained?
No.
You guys got the defending champs tomorrow night. Is there anything about playing an elite opponent that can bring out the best in your group?
In your group?
In your particular team?
Me?
Your team.
Oh, it all depends where you are in the season but how you play that game. Obviously, you always kind of use games to see where you are at that moment. But we know where we are at this moment. We're sitting at a few games under 500. Haven't played the basketball that we like to play, so it's not like a stepping stone or where we are. We know where we are right now.
Mark.
Hey, LeBron, how have you seen Trevor find his footing with the group, given he's missed so many games with his injury, and there's obviously other new players?
I just think the more and more consistent minutes that he gets, the more and more comfortable he gets with what we're trying to do, and the more he feels like he's a part of the turnaround for us. And I think each and every game, his legs has gotten better, his ankle has responded well, everything has gotten better. His spring has gotten even more and more better every game. So the more and more minutes, the more and more games, the more everything has helped him.
Bill and then Johan.
LeBron, we know what kind of partnership you have with Rob when it comes to the direction of this team. How do you look at this week with the trade deadline? It's one of the opportunities teams have to change up or improve themselves. Do you feel like this team needs to be active at the deadline, or do you think that you have the guys that you can do it with here?
I've always felt like, listen, I don't really like to play fantasy basketball, so, this is the group that we have going into the deadline, and we'll be ready to take on all challenges that the season has given us. If there's an opportunity, I've said this every year, if there's an opportunity for you to get better, then you explore those options. That's always been, I've been like that my whole career. I've said it over and over. If you have an opportunity to get better, no one turns that down. It's, as great as the Rams was, they had an opportunity to get an elite guy like Odell, and they went and got it. So if you have an opportunity to get better, you try to get better. And if not, then you rock and roll what you got.
Have you given, or has Rob asked, have you and Rob had a dialogue about?
You got to ask Rob that question.
Yovan,
LeBron, you guys have said multiple times throughout the season how surprised you were that you were able to get Malik this offseason. What type of growth have you seen from him during the season? And he's obviously become now maybe the third or fourth most important offensive player on this team.
He's just improved from day one. Every single day he's gotten better and better. And, I'm extremely happy that we have him. He's playing exceptional basketball, not only scoring the ball, which everybody see, but he's always been a bucket. But I think, his playmaking ability, the way he's, committing to the defensive side of the floor as well, competing. He's in there a lot during the late game situations because coach trusts him and we trust him. So, that improvement along is it's a wonderful sight to see. I love to see that in a young guy.
the last two, we'll go Jordan Richard on Zoom, and then we'll do Kyle with a follow-up on
Ron, just wanted to ask you, you guys been using AD a lot in pick and roll. He's getting a lot more lob actions. In that third and fourth quarter of the last game, you guys ran him in pick and roll majority of the time. Just wanted to, ask you about that and how that's been beneficial for you guys over late.
It's not rocket science. At the end of the day, if you got someone as dynamic as Anthony Davis, then you put him in action. I hate to keep using the same, Rams analogies or whatever, but McVay know that Cooper Kupp is a dynamic football player. He know how great he is in the slot, outside the numbers, going in motion. You put him in all the action, and something is going to open up for your team. So, it's times we come off pick and roll, you hit AD on a pocket pass, you get to his floater, get to his jumper. Sometimes you come off the pick and roll, you don't get him for a lob. But sometimes you also come off and then you attract other defensive guys and you're able to get somebody else open for open three. If you look at one of the biggest possessions of last game, I threw the ball to AD on the elbow, he hit me back, AD came to a side pick and roll, and because of his role, he attracted so many defenders, attracted Julius Randle to tag AD, and I hit Trevor for a three. It's not rocket science, you just gotta know the game, and McVay is one of those guys who know the game, and I happen to be one of those guys who know the game as well.
Last question, Kyle, what's your follow-up?
Just thinking about your answer to Dan's question, just sort of about all the instability of this season, how much has changed. I think it's pretty well established that Russ is this guy who really thrives with routine, and even though he's played every game for you guys, his role and the teammates around him has changed a lot. Is there anything you guys do internally to kind of create stability, either in the locker room or in some other way for Russ to kind of make him feel grounded?
Just honest. Listen, we're all honest with everybody. So at the end of the day, we can't control the narrative of what's going on, in the media or what's going on over social media. Things are going on. There's always rumblings and conversations that's going to be had every single trade deadline. It happens every single year. It happens. And it's, I think what you read or how much attention that you pay attention to can manifest itself to you believing it or not, or just saying, listen, I'm putting my foot in the ground. I got a job to do. I'm gonna go out and play. But for me as a brother to Russ, at the end of the day, I only care about his state of mind and how much he can give to himself. And he commit to himself, then it's gonna trickle down to the rest of us. So I don't really get involved in all the other schematics and things off the floor. All I care about is how he is, how his well-being is, how his family doing. The game will translate. You put the work in, the game will translate. Guys struggle all the time. Guys, or feel like they're not themselves or feel like they can do more, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, as his brother, we all are in this together. We're all in the foxhole together. There's not one guy that's doing it by himself. There's not one guy to get the blame over another guy. There's not one guy to get the praise over another guy. When we lose, we all lose. When we win, we all win. And it's none of that.